Monday, September 23rd, and yep, well, windshield continues. Working on this skylight area here, and we did take out the 2216 adhesive. I've been storing that in the refrigerator, so we brought that out. We'll get that up to room temperature. Don't know if we're going to be using it today, but just getting that prepped and ready to go for when we put the windshield on. So yeah, just continuing where we left off from yesterday. Well, we just stuck a couple Clecos in the skylight yesterday to just put it in place, hold it down until we got back. So today I'm going to go through, and each one of these rivet holes, I've got a like a poker. I'm just going to poke a hole through that foam that's on there, and we'll Cleco this all in, and then when we come back around to rivet it, we'll silicone, we'll put silicone on the rivets and pull the Cleco, put the rivet in. That rivet will have silicone on there and seal that up. So we're gonna get started on that. Got our screw holes on the windshield, got that deburred, and just a little bit of a, just chamfered that hole just a little tiny bit. So those are ready to go. Next step is we're going to pull this inside film off of the windshield and put it in place. We're going to Cleco this down in prep for installation. So yeah, we're approaching a very big moment here. We're going to review our steps first, make sure we're on the right place, and then go from there. Got the windshield in place. We put it in place and taped it on, centered it up, made sure everything was there, and put the center strip in, center trim strip, and did have a few issues with this fit up. Ended up having to enlarge in this hole in the front a little bit because it just wasn't, even though we lined this up initially, it wasn't lining up once we went to do it. I think what happened was the rivet nut underneath, when we did we used a number 1 for the rivet nut, And when we did that, I think that bit moved just a little tiny bit through the alignment of that off through this strip. So just had to enlarge that hole a little bit to make it fit better. Also did just a dab of silicone, actually a little ring of silicone around each one of the screws on the bottom side, so where it's against the windshield. That's sealed up there, and then also used blue paste Loctite. Here it comes. This stuff, Loctite stick. So blue Loctite in a paste form, so you don't have to worry about getting it on the windshield. Just rubbed it on the end in the thread, so it was buried into the threads a little bit, and put those on. The book says don't put these down too tight, but they don't say what too tight is, so it's kind of a guess, I guess. I went and I screwed it down tight and then backed it out a half turn on all of those, and it seems like it's still tight but not too tight, if that makes sense. These are the outer trim strips that go on top of the window, or the windshield, and the skylight on the outside, where that white spacer strip is. This spacer strip, and there's that strip of foam. There's a strip of foam that will ride on top of the windshield and the skylight, and then that strip gets riveted on top of the spacer strip. And those will be, oh, those get silicone riveted, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll put a little silicone on those rivets when we pull those. Okay, we got the top trim strips cleat coat in. Did I already talk about this? I don't think I did. Got these cleat coat in, and we did that foam tape underneath there. And we've got, oh, and the back. The rear hold down strip on the skylight is installed. Not installed, cleat coat. And we got the Z strips in here. And what's next?
The middle mating strip.
Oh, we got to do the mating strip on the inside. So you got the mating strip that joins the windshield to the skylight. So we've got that. We're going to cleco up and get ready to go. And we checked our gaps and everything is good there on both sides and across. So I'll move on to that. Okay, here's a quick little gotcha on the windshield installation. In the book, if you're following the steps through the book, like we are, you put the center strip in here, this center trim strip, and you screw this down, like I just talked about. And then the book instructs, gives you the instructions for doing the mating strip. There is a, what's...
The tube.
Yeah.
And then a bottom mating strip and a spacer.
Spacer. So there's a mating strip and a spacer strip that go between the inside of the windshield and the ribs. But if you follow the book and you've got this all clecoed up and you've got this screwed in, there's no way to put that spacer strip and that mating strip inside of here. So what we're doing is we're unclecoing this. We'll have to pull some of these clecos here. Probably going to have to unscrew, might have to unscrew all of the center strip so that we can lift the windshield up and get that mating strip and spacer strip slid underneath there. So kind of a gotcha if you haven't done the windshield yet. I'll bet you Derek talked about this.
Probably did.
I told you I was going to watch this video on this
Yeah, we
before we
did.
started. Anyway, yeah, so watch out for that. The instructions when you go to put the windshield on with a center strip, and before you cleco on the skylight, put the bottom mating and spacer strip in there before you do this. Well, we're ready to rivet. We got clecos in everywhere we can put a cleco, holding all this down. So we're going over the rivet schedule for the skylight and windshield, and I think we're going to get started riveting. The hold down strip here in the front is the last thing you do. So everything else gets riveted. We'll come down here, and then that's gonna get glued in and riveted. And I don't think we're gonna get that today. We'll probably get started on that tomorrow. Another nice day today. A little cloudy. It's really windy though. We had to leave the hangar door shut because we were working on the window and stuff and didn't want dust blowing around. Well, we're done for today. We couldn't quite get them all done. We've got some plans for this evening, so we had to cut it short a little bit, but we got a pretty good dent in this. Both of these center trim strips are riveted down to the interior ribs. Got our cross support done. The windshield is screwed in on the front trim strip. So yeah, feeling pretty good. These rivets they're going in pretty easy. I mean, a little tight, but not too bad. And we are silicone riveting these, so much like when we wet rivet with primer, we put just a little tiny bit of silicone on that rivet before we put it in there, stick it in, pull that rivet, and it seals up that hole. But yeah, tomorrow we'll finish up these sides here on the wing roots and this back hold down piece, and then I think we're going to be ready to do that front end, that hold down strip for the front. So fingers crossed we get the windshield finished out tomorrow. That'll be a good feeling to get that done. Then we can move on to boot cowl, or not boot cowl, engine cowl. We got an air box we got to put together, prop spinner, a couple other things. We have some items we gotta finish up, but getting dang close. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope y'all have a good evening, and that is it for now.